My goodness gracious. So
I don't know
excited.
what the hell I'm doing.
Hi, everyone. This is Snark of Thrones, or Game of Snark. I don't know which one. I called it Snark of Thrones. So we're going to talk about the season finale and the entire season series, everything we can, and we're going to try and squeeze it into an hour and 15 minutes, maybe a little bit longer. Um, so joining me tonight is Geri.
So excited.
Um,
What the hell I'm doing.
okay.
Hi everyone. This is
So you
Snark of
gotta.
Thrones
Someone's got.
or Game of Snark. I don't know which one.
Oops.
Game of Snark of Thrones.
Yeah, someone's got it
So
opened
we're
in another window.
Sorry, that was me.
Okay.
I turned it
So
off.
we got Jerry. Say hi, Jerry.
Hi! Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Fantastic. And we've got Karen Marie. Say hi, Karen.
Hi.
And we've got Lee, the famous Midgie girl.
There I am. Glasses and all. I'm so interesting.
And we've got the infamous Mr. Mike because he's a big Game of Thrones fan.
Listen,
Say
Battle of the Bastards will take an hour and 15 minutes to talk about.
no, it won't because that was disappointing. And we can talk about that too. But we're going to talk about all things Game of Thrones, and I've got a question for all of you. We're going to start at King's Landing because we're going to talk about people and places. We're going to start at King's Landing, but everyone here except for Mike has read the books, correct?
No,
Well,
I
I
didn't
don't.
read the books.
No,
Okay, so
I've never
No,
read it.
you guys definitely know the names more than I do. I know the characters, but sometimes I'm familiar with who's who, but not as much as you are.
okay,
I'll tell you that because I didn't read the books.
so for Jerry and Karen, and we'll go to Karen first because she's the newbie.
All
Um,
right.
since we have passed the books, what do you think? Are you liking the show more?
Well, I've never really read the books, and so it's always been new to me. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah, we can hear you
Yes.
fine.
Okay. But since it's gotten past the books, I think the show has just moved a lot more, and I feel like we've been getting a lot more information. It's not as slow paced as before, and it's just been so much more enjoyable to watch. This is the first year that I've actually watched live every Sunday. Usually I just let the episodes build up on my DVR and then I catch up on it, but this year I just had to watch every week.
Okay. For some reason, I thought you were one of the book readers, Karen.
No, no, I never read the books.
See, now I know Jerry is has read the books and probably gone through them more than once because I've gone through them twice.
Yeah,
Um,
peruse them, yeah, because you have to remember all those little nuances.
but okay, so last year I over the summer I reread the series, and the series up to the last book actually does have a pretty decent pace. The problem is there's a lot more stuff going on in the books than happens in the show. But as far as the show, since they have passed the books, what do you feel,
I like
Jerry?
it. I've really been enjoying it, and like Karen said, it's been going quicker. It's a more fast pace, and I feel like they're really embracing that freedom they have, like the writers, because I'm sure like R. R. Martin just sort of gave them an outline or just some bullet points of like, this is which way I want this character to go, and the storyline I sort of see it going this way, and then just sort of letting the writers just go with it. And I think that they've just really embraced that, and sort of between them and the actors, you can tell it's just this creative force. Like the season has been so strong, like much stronger than all the other seasons. I think in the other seasons there were certain episodes that you sort of could pick out and say were strong, but this season was just so evenly done, if that makes sense.
Um, it as far as I'm concerned, it really, Karen said it, fast paced. It just kept on. I mean, just bang bang. I mean, I don't think there was a bad episode. Um, but with the finale on for this show this season, I want to say, like it was said today, in the presence of Mike, it was probably the best finale of any show ever. And I will slightly disagree only because so much good stuff happened in last night's episode that there is like um Lee mentioned the Battle of the Bastards. That could have been a whole episode. Okay, it could have been a little bit. It could have been longer, or it could have been shorter. But I think because that whole, I mean, more than half of that episode was about Jon Snow and Sansa, that they had to take everything else and kind of compress it into the finale. And I thought that, okay, so here we go. Who didn't guess that Deceptive Baylor was going to blow up? I mean, by force of hands, because they've been talking about, like, twice in the last 3 or 4 episodes, Tyrion has mentioned Jaime and why he killed the Mad King. You know, it came up again, and there was one episode.
I don't know why I missed that. I missed that. I don't know. Was that earlier season? You know, I only came on board with Game of Thrones on HBO just a few seasons ago. So I missed. I had to go back and play the Red Wedding and all that. I missed that whole season. So was it mentioned during that time? During
It was
in Landing?
It was mentioned. Jaime actually tells the story way back in like the second or the third season. I don't remember.
Okay.
But Tyrion actually 2 episodes ago, I think, told Dany the story of why when she was talking right before she took the dragons out and destroyed the Maester's fleet. He told her, when you talk about destroying whole cities, that's what her father was going to do, and that's why Jaime killed him. And then there was one scene where, and this is the one guy, I don't know his name, the Maester that Cersei uses now, the guy who brought the mountain back to life.
Yeah, I don't know his name.
But
Pure out. Something like that.
Yeah, that dude is the one who confirmed to Cersei, like they had a little conversation where, well, did you see it? Is it true? And he said, yes, it's there. Now, I knew she was going to do that. I guessed. But did anybody here guess that she was going to do it while everybody was there?
No.
Although she knew that wildfire, it doesn't stay contained. It's like boom. So she had to have imagined that many people were gonna get it no matter what, and she had to be quick.
Well, Karen, do you think that that she planned on doing it when Marjorie was there? And
of course she did, because she wants to be queen.
Yeah, I think
she hates fucking Marjorie.
She's been wanting to get rid of Marjorie since the beginning.
Yes.
So I think her plan was to get rid of all of her enemies all at once. So I think that was her plan.
I think you're right, Karen.
So
she kept Tommen away. She made the mountain block him so that he wouldn't go to the sun.
Right, and that was now. I have a child that is 19 years old that lives in this house also, and she was telling me before the episode started that Tommen was going to die, but she's all into going and checking spoilers and stuff, and I said, why are you telling me that? I don't want to know. And she says, oh no, like in the last 3 seasons, in the last 2 seasons, someone has died, so Tommen's going to die tonight, and I can't wait. And I was like, he's a little boy.
Yeah, but it was
I love the way he hopped out that window.
Oh yeah.
He just walked back and did a hop.
Yeah, I was very sad when that happened, but Cersei.
I didn't expect it really.
Yeah, that was totally unexpected. I didn't think he was going to jump. But from the prophecy that she spoke about before, that all of her children would die. So
Yeah, for her to get power.
But meanwhile, the reason that all her kids died was because she was a capital bitch, you know. And if she wasn't, her kids would have still been alive. So now,
Yeah, but they were crazy and all inbred. When they
well,
want to do something.
Joffrey was the only one who was a little bit of a sick puppy. I mean, Tommen was just a little cute little lad who, you know, grew 3 years since the last time we saw him, and
Eh,
and the daughter, she was just a little girl. I mean, she wasn't crazy or inbred.
that something would have eventually come out. It just kind of affect you somehow. I'm sorry.
Yeah, but the
Come on, first
Targaryens,
level brother and sister. Not like having kids with your third cousin.
have been doing that kind of crap for years and years and years, and they got a Mad
Who?
King, yeah, but
Yeah, they're
um,
barbarians, right?
no, no, I'm talking about Danny's father.
Oh, okay.
Fuck yeah.
She, she, she's the product of like an incestual relationship. But it was okay because they were married. That's the problem with Cersei. If she would have just married Jamie,
Well,
but
She can't.
no.
not anymore. Well, actually, now she can't. But then again, yes, she can because who's going to stop her? The High Sparrow, and he got what he had coming to him.
Oh, I'm so glad he's
Boy,
gone.
he should have
Do
gotten it
you
3
think that
episodes
Jamie's going to
ago.
be happy with her, though?
Nope.
Oh,
No.
oh, dude! If you watch the end of the episode when she's going on the throne, um, and Jamie, I think. And I wanted to talk about him especially because
He
I
loves
think,
Brianna.
yeah, I don't think so.
No, maybe
No, no, I was going to say
not.
Jamie is the most unique character in the whole story because he touches upon so many other different characters. I think he touches from his whole story arc. He's touched more of the characters that we know than any other character. I mean, Jon Snow was basically just the Starks and the people up at the wall. You know, I and that's why I kind of like we can take Arya and we could talk about Arya and just her storyline because once she left Westeros, she had no contact. Like once she left this, the Hound, she had no contact with anybody else. So she's isolated. Bran isolated, but Jamie, the Jamie that killed the Kingslayer, I think might be who kills Cersei because she's already done the wildfire trick once.
Mm.
I think that she would do it again. I'm sorry. There is a creature
Arya
here on the
pulled a
floor.
Mission Impossible face flip.
Um,
What's going on there?
I think there's
Got you.
got somebody on the floor here.
Where are all the pencils?
They're upstairs, or they're in it's that one. So just leave it to my kid to derail everything. But Jamie touches on everything, and there's been some speculation by some people that next season there's supposed to be 2 more seasons, but they're short, like 7 episode seasons or 7 and 6, something like that.
7 and then 6.
7 and then 6, I've just been told. By that next season might end with Cersei dying, and Dany taking King's Landing, and then the final season just be the war against, the White Walkers. So,
Oh,
um, I'm just wondering whether or not Jamie makes it all the way to the end because I think he's got the potential. But I think a lot of people like Jamie, like his character, he was more of, I didn't like him in the beginning, but like a lot of characters in this story, some of the people that I didn't like, I never liked them, but I understood them. Like Tywin, didn't like the guy. And he was, when you first meet him, he's just a jerk off and a douche. But as you get to know him, he's not such a bad guy, and you learn what his motivation is, and then once you do, you still don't like him because of the things that he's done. But everybody is not nice. So, um,
Jamie has a heart. Like he's got a little compassion there. He's so opposite of his sister. It's almost like his sister just sucked him in, and he's almost like, he loves her. Yeah, do anything for her. Like the saying goes, I'll do anything for love. The things we do for love. That's the line all the time. But
yeah.
yet I feel sorry for him because he looks like he just never had the opportunity to live the life he wanted to because of his sister.
Well, I think.
What do you think? I don't know. I could be way off on that.
No, in the last episode when he was with the phrase and he was sitting there and they were talking to the serving girls, one of the serving girls they were looking at turned out to be Arya.
Yeah.
But Jamie made the comment where he said, and they were both, I believe, brunettes, but he said she's not blonde enough for me. So he still loves Cersei, but he knows that she is way off her rockers, and and he knows they're his kids. And I don't know if the last time we saw Jamie, if he actually knows that Tommen killed himself because of that, or how Tommen died, or what. But the look he had on his face when he saw her take the throne was not good. But I think that whole view out the window, I think that was pretty crazy. Is there anything else we need to cover in King's Landing?
What about the children? Were they all those children? Did they just live under the city?
Oh yeah, those children who did all the stabbing. What was their how did that come about? How did the children come about being talked into that?
I think they may have been Varys' little spiders, little things.
I think they called them the little birds. I think that's what they refer to them. His
So
little birds.
am I the only person then who imagined that they're friends with the mountain? Like that's what he does in his off time is just like hang out with neighborhood kids.
I am.
I'm just glad the repent nurse got it good from the mountain.
It's like a creepy Big Brother program.
You want to know something? I'm glad Mike brought it up because that was during that scene where she was saying shame, shame. I didn't like that Septa, but nobody deserves to get mountained. Okay, nobody deserves to have a mountain get dropped on him, and don't know what he was actually doing at that point. But you could imagine. I know some people.
Implied.
Yes, but again, there may be some people that I know that were very happy that happened, like the same way they were happy with Ramsay Bolton getting, his.
Let me tell you, those dogs are killers. That's a Presario Canaro dog in that shot, and not to get off topic, but those dogs were in a case where they attacked a woman in San Francisco and killed her years ago in her hallway.
Oh.
Yeah, I saw an article that how they explained how they had to CGI them because they couldn't even risk bringing them that close to the actor. Yeah, there was like a whole, just the way they shot that whole scene, it had to be done so carefully because
The
of,
heads of those dogs are the size of my torso.
yeah.
Yeah,
They're killers.
yeah, and my whole point is he deserved that, but
Mhm.
he got off easy. I think like it was he caught a little bit of a beating from Jon Snow, and then the dogs probably finished him off. It probably wasn't the most pleasant way to go, but I mean um
Oh, the
he was
smirk on Sansa's face when she walked away. It was great.
um the only person that was more of a sociopath on that show than Bolton was Joffrey, with the way he would
Yes.
torture people. Um, and but you know, he got what he had coming.
Can
Um,
we? Can I just make a side note? Can we use Ramsay Bolton's military tactical maneuvers on the Republican Party? That's my political. Or
you could
Donald Trump.
try. You could
You know?
try, but I'm going to point out that those tactical maneuvers that Bolton used failed because he lost. So if
Yeah.
you want to do that, you're going to put the
Uh,
Republicans right in.
well, they only failed because of Littlefinger's.
No, 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 no. It doesn't make a difference why they failed. They still failed.
Yeah.
Okay,
Maybe they
Well,
should do
I
one.
still think it was a pretty cool maneuver.
but we're not here to talk about politics.
I know that was my only political
Yeah,
moment
okay.
that
Well, no, no.
evening.
There's no politics here on
I'm
Snark of Thrones. Okay, we talk about
snarking.
we talk about we talk about the politics of Westeros and Marine. We don't talk about
It's
real
very
world
relatable
politics.
today. Believe me.
No, it's not. No, because you get into trouble because you alienate people who may like Donald Trump or who may like Bernie Sanders. So we don't like to talk about those people. They don't exist in my world.
Okay. I like everybody, right?
Yeah, that's see. If I could, I would vote for each and every one of them, and I would vote more than once for all of them because that's the kind of guy I am. I like to spread myself out, give a little bit.
You're just setting me
Oh
up
my
to say
God, you're
horrible,
so
horrible
politically
things, and I'm
correct. I
not
can't
doing
say
it.
it.
Do you see this level of personal growth here, Tony?
Yeah.
No, I don't, because I know you can't control yourself.
Not when I'm around you, babe.
I know. I sent Mike a note today. I
You
wrote,
look like you're drinking out of a specimen jar, Tony.
no, this is from Joe's Crab Shack. They give
You're
you.
welcome, Tony.
Yes. Yes. You can't see it, but it says Joe's Crab Shack
I
right
have
there.
I have to get some water since you're showing me that. I got to get some cold water since it's 115 degrees down here.
Well.
Sheila.
So while she's getting water, okay, I sent Mike a note that said, "Do you like me?" And then I put two little check boxes, yes and no. And then under that, I was like, "Do you like me? Like me?" And I had two more check boxes, and he checked yes both times. I'm so happy about it.
He
I wish
actually
I
got
would've-
mad at me because I
Summer
didn't check it off at first. I just kind of like laughed at it, and he's like, "I'm serious. Check the fucking note."
love. Oh.
It was pretty funny because I was just standing around waiting for stuff to happen. So, and I was visiting Mike in his office. Um, so, Sansa. Sansa, I think, besides, I don't even want to say besides, I think Sansa has her character from the start of the series to now has probably gone through the biggest growth, the biggest amount of change than any character. And and I just want to ask you guys if anybody besides Sansa, if you've seen them change as much as she has had to do.
I mean, I guess in a funny way you could say Bran, just because, granted he was a little boy and he's grown up, but he lost the ability to walk, and then he found out he has to be like the tree man for the rest of his life, and realized he changed things, and he can, what he did to Hodor, so he had a big change himself. Maybe not as big as Sansa.
I was going to save Hodor for the end, but we'll talk about him in the end. So the question, Lee, was besides Sansa, which character has grown the most or changed the most since the beginning?
Oh, I definitely think it's Arya.
Okay.
I think Arya. I'm not. Maybe you know more depth about the whole Two-Face thing, where she was and what that meaning. But I think it was giving her a purpose to find out who she was again.
Well,
That's why she was there. And at the very end, she goes, "I am Arya Stark from her." Well, where is she from? Winterfell,
Winterfell.
right?
Yeah.
And like she regained her purpose of who she was, and it was going through what she went through there, whatever that was, that made her fierce.
okay.
Fierce.
Mike?
I would have to go Arya as well. She's one of my favorite characters, also. So,
Okay.
but
Well,
I feel like you've seen that character sort of grow in a literal sense, the same way that Bram has. But you've seen her go through so much more and experience so many different things.
Karen?
I'm gonna say Jon Snow. Jon Snow went from kind of broody guy to really, really broody guy in the course of 6 seasons. And he's got a really nice man bun, so that's a really nice change.
He's very good looking.
Okay. I'm going to disagree with the Arya camp only because she was always a little pistol. She was always wanting to learn how to fight with the sword from season 1, from, way back in the day. She got needle. She had to learn how to use it. She would stand up for herself, and she was
Yeah, but
younger
she did it in a scrappy do kind of way where she caused
Yeah.
more problems than she solved.
than
Whereas
this.
now I think you see her growing into a mature, complicated character.
Well, she got the butcher's boy killed in the first season because of being a little bit of a scrappy do. But Sansa went from being the prim and proper, my whole life is planned out, I'm going to marry the prince, I'm going to be the queen, blah, 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 and everything is just going to be wonderful, 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 to marrying Tyrion, to escaping after a murder, watching her father and her family get decimated, having to go with Littlefinger to the Eyrie, what happened there, then to Ramsay Bolton, where she had to, she has gone from everything is perfect and this is the way things are to nobody can protect me, I'm never safe, I'll never be safe anywhere, but being able to.
Well, that's where I think the growth of the two characters is different. Like, I think
Right.
that one, you have, like, with Arya, like, she's going out and pushing herself forward and growing as a person of her own accord, whereas Sansa just had sort of rose-colored glasses about the world and had that ripped away from her and reality forced on her. So she's just adapting to the situations that are thrown at her rather than being proactive the way that Arya's character is.
Okay, so Mike, I'll start with you then with this question. Did Arya need to kill the waif in order for, I am going to call him the Nameless Man because that's the way I think of him, when she went back to the temple to tell him that she had killed him, killed her? Do you think she had to kill her to finally become no one? Or did she become no one because she killed her? Like, was that the last test, or because she won, she was no one? Do you know what I mean?
I think it was a
she
little bit of
became-
both.
Go ahead.
Okay,
I'm sorry.
Lee, I was asking Mike the question,
Oh, I'm sorry.
and you'll get a chance to answer. Let Mike answer first.
Sorry, Mike.
Oh, no problem. I think it was actually a little bit of both. I don't know if that was something he intended from the beginning, but by her doing that, she obviously elevated herself to the next level of her training.
Okay,
Revenge plotting.
So I'm going to go to Lee now. I'm
I
gonna
don't want
go.
to talk anymore.
Okay.
Tony's yelling at me all night.
I'm not yelling
No,
at you.
I
Just like
think no.
I said, I started out by saying, Mike, I'm going to ask you
Yeah,
this
you're
question,
right. You're right. I wasn't
and then
paying
you jumped
attention.
right over him.
She's
Bite
my
me.
translator. It's fine.
I am. I have to translate him. He's in the dark over there. No,
Oh.
I think that if you want to ask, I think that killing the waif, gave, well, he got the face he wanted. I don't know to put up there, but she became a girl that has a name. She's not someone without a name. That gave her like it's her and her sister totally different. The Sansa went through trauma to become cold-hearted and vengeful after being brutalized, raped, whatever that psychotic nut did to her. That's a different transformation than Arya's transformation. Arya was is ready. She was fighting in the dark. It was like when what is it? Batman Begins when he was getting trained to sense with the blindfold. I mean, she's like a ninja now. Forget it. I mean, if
Oh, no,
anything,
she's definitely a ninja.
yeah.
My
I mean,
premise,
but she has
my
a
premise.
purpose. She has a name.
Well,
That
I'm not disagreeing with
yeah.
you. I will disagree that Arya went through a hell of a lot of crap when she was on the road escaping from King's Landing. She
I
was
don't think she
taking.
was raped or
No,
sexually
no,
brutalized.
no, she
That's
wasn't. But
different.
but she was acting as a boy, and she potentially could have been raped. I'm not trying to downplay that, but Arya was already sort of a tomboyish type person, and she started doing things that are more manly than feminine. And Sansa went from the prim and proper girl and did a 180 is the point that I'm trying to make. And I'm just trying to see if, how what you guys are saying about Arya, if the change has been as big, because again, Arya was tomboyish. She was doing things earlier. She was getting trained earlier, but she
I'm
couldn't get
not.
any.
I'm not saying it's not an equally large change in the character with Sansa. I'm just saying the difference is with Arya's character, she's being proactive about her change, where
Okay.
Sansa's just surviving all these things that are happening to her.
Right,
Right.
but until recently, where she's actually started taking an active hand in it,
Right.
where Arya has been taking an active hand in it
From the very beginning.
from the very beginning. So now we can agree.
Yeah, I
Karen?
think I know what you're saying. Arya's remained consistent in her personality as that rough and tumble tomboyish. She just got better at it. I mean,
Right, and
she's like
and
it honed in, whereas where Sansa's like was the delicate lady,
Like me.
and just the events that happened to her were different, but it hardened her. She's
um
like she's like an Arya now. I mean, she may not be a fighter, but she may come to that. You know, Arya's a fighter with that
well,
little.
I just I'll refer to Mike and I'll agree with him because she was heading that way and she actively sought how to get there, where Sansa, it was more or less forced upon her, and she hasn't been taking an active role. Do you agree or disagree, Karen?
I agree. I think that Arya has always had that part of her that she looked up to Jon Snow and wanted to fight with a sword and do archery and all that stuff. But I think there was kind of an immaturity to her, and through her travels, I think she's grown up through that to where she said, "I am Arya Stark," and she believes it. When she said that, I got chills because I believed her, and she's no longer the immature little girl who's following in her brother's footsteps.
Well,
So her arc was more of her becoming mature. So I don't
um,
think it was her changing.
I think I got more chills when she told Walder Frey because I remember saying, "Hey, there goes the High Sparrow. He got his," and you responded to me, Karen, by saying, "Yeah, but Walder Frey's got to get his," and it was like
Yeah,
the next freaking scene. I was like, crystal ball time, because it
yeah.
was like the next scene.
When she said,
Uh,
"I am Arya Stark," I was just like, when she was holding, I was like, yes.
yeah, because she was actually hiding too. She was hiding Arya Stark up until that point. You
Hmm.
know, she was keeping her identity hidden. When she was on the road, when she was escaping from whoever she was escaping from, you know, nobody knew she was Arya Stark. But let's go to Jerry and see how Jerry feels about the Sansa Arya.
No, yeah, I like the comparisons, and yeah, there's definitely the similarities and differences, but it both got them to the same point. I think all the Starks are starting to kiss ass or kick ass now. You know, you got Jon Snow, he's embracing the fact that he's a king. Sansa, she uses her power in ways that she can. You know, she contacted Littlefinger and got the army together, and Arya did what she had to do. She was to get revenge on Walder, and she still has more people on her list, and she's not anywhere finished.
Okay, that that was perfect, Jerry, because that's my next question, and I'm going to start with you. What is Arya's next move? Does she go to Winterfell, or does she stay a lone wolf and continue trying to find? Because a lot of people that were on that list aren't around anymore.
Right, right. I think she's gonna go to Winterfell. I think she's gonna go home and see what's going on there. Like, does she know? I can't remember. Does she know that Jon Snow is still alive and Sansa's still alive? Because remember, she assumed her whole family was dead, which is why she ended up going to what's it called?
I'm pretty sure that Jon Snow went to the wall before, like when everybody was going to King's Landing, he went to the wall.
Yeah,
So if anybody, and she probably doesn't know what happened to everybody.
yeah.
She may have gotten some of the stories. She did hear about the Red Wedding because she was almost there.
She was almost there, which
Yeah.
is why she wanted to go after Walder. Yeah, but
Um,
yeah,
so
she's gonna go to Winterfell first, kind of regroup, see what's going on. But I think, I mean, does she know that the Hound survived?
no, as a
Yeah.
matter of fact, that's the next thing that we're going to talk about is the Hound because that's an interesting uh, issue. So Karen, is Arya going to Winterfell or is she going to seek revenge?
I think she's going to go to Winterfell. I think that that stopover to get Walder Frey was just a stop in the road on her way home. So,
Okay.
because she was very serious about going home, so I think she's going to end up there.
Lee?
I think the Hound and her are gonna find each other again, and both of them are gonna go to
Okay.
Winterfell.
Okay, that's a possibility. So Winterfell with the Hound.
Yeah, I think when she sees the Hound, and no matter how much she despises him, I think she's gonna be happy to see him. I don't know why, but I just think it's gonna be a good reunion.
Well, if the Hound is with Don Darren and he's still in that same River Run uh, area, there's a possibility that she could run into him. Mike?
I think she's going to wind up in Winterfell pretty quickly. I'm sure she'll cross paths with the Hound again, and it really bothers me that he's back, but that's a separate thing. I'm sure they'll cross paths again, though, so I'm interested to see how that plays out.
Okay. So the Hound. Do we like that the Hound is back?
No.
Okay, Lee. One word answer. Hound good, Hound
Yes,
bad. Hound
yes,
good.
good.
Okay, Hound good. So that's one good, one bad. Karen?
I have mixed feelings about it because I don't understand why him being back is how the story is going to progress with him being back. So I have mixed feelings.
I think there's one thing that could happen with him, but let's go to Jerry. Good, bad.
Good if that one thing happens.
Okay, so the one thing that a lot of people think is going to happen is there is going to be a final battle between the Mountain and the Hound, the two
Yes,
brothers. Uh,
Oh,
yes,
okay,
so
okay,
yes.
and that
if,
makes sense then.
Which
if
is really the only reason to bring the character back, as far as I'm concerned.
right, and we all and now one of the things that people say about the show is you're not dead unless someone sees you die. Okay, And so we didn't see Stannis die. So a lot of people like, is he alive? Is he dead? Like, what's going on with Stannis? But then we had Brienne say, I took my sword and I shoved it in him. So there was a confirmed kill there. But the Hound was basically left to die. And we all assumed that he died. And when he popped back up, I was like, okay, so I'm going to go on the good side, only because I hated that character in the books. But then I really, really started to like him when I found out what
Yeah.
his motivations were. And he's not a bad character.
No.
So I liked him, and when he came back, and I was like, you want to know something? I think they did something right bringing him back. And that's like without even having him fight the mountain. Because, I mean, Jon Snow is not dead. Is Jon Snow gonna fight Jaime Lannister? I don't know. No, that's not gonna happen. But let's not talk about that. So, Hound, not yet anyway, because we haven't talked about Jon Snow. Who else didn't we talk about? Okay, we talked about the Boltons. Is there anything we want to talk about the Boltons? Anything that we need besides that Roose, when Ramsay killed his daddy, I was quite happy. That's one of the characters in the books never like no redeeming quality. Kind of like Walder Frey, and any of the Freys.
I just have a quick question to throw out. Do you guys like the Ramsay character? Did you like the Ramsay character?
I thought I liked the actor. I thought he did a fantastic job of me hating him.
It was getting a little tiresome. Just watching him be evil week after week. I was like, okay, I get it. He's evil.
Yeah, he's one of the. I did not like the character, but I wasn't supposed to. I liked not liking him. I thought he was a good character, and I liked him because I could hate him, and I was like, he's a bad guy. He's not someone that my feelings are a little bit wishy-washy, because you do have some good people that are just on the wrong side of the war, but he was never one of them. And the Boltons always, like Littlefinger, who I never liked. I don't like him. And he's got at least one more treacherous turn coming, I think. I don't know what it's going to be, but he's always plotting, and it seems whatever he plots, he's plotting for his own benefit. So,
Gross. First he's in love with Caitlyn, and he marries the sister, and now he's all after Sansa. It's like, come on. He just still wants to be get with a Stark.
Is Caitlyn Stark going to show up at any point?
I would have liked her to, but I don't think they're going to do it.
Yeah, because maybe. So before we talk about the Greyjoys and the Ironborn, because that's a different issue, we mentioned Bran. Okay, Bran's story was great, but I had a hysterically crying kid here. Okay, she's not a kid; she's 19, but she was crying hysterically when Hodor died. And when they showed that hold the door story, I was like, holy crap. Like it came out of nowhere, and I was like, man, right before he died, when he was having, I can never remember her name, the little frog girl.
Yeah,
the girl that's what's his name's sister that, it's just the two of them now.
yeah,
And
with the curly brown hair.
yeah.
Right?
Mm.
The one that
And
said hold the door. Is that the one you're talking about?
yeah. No, but he had a conversation with her. Hodor did, when right before he died, like they were talking about getting something good to eat, and Hodor was like, and bacon, and Hodor's like, Hodor, and like everything she said was like, Hodor, Hodor. It was like everything he said was Hodor, but the way he said the words, it was almost like having a conversation. And I was like, holy crap, that scene was so cool. And then Hold the Door happened, and I was like, oh my god. Um, that and almost every episode so far this season had a moment like that that was like um, mind blowing. So Mike, what did you think of Hodor and holding the door?
I thought it was a really great scene because now I have not read the books, so I could be completely off, or there could be way more about this that I
This
just
is
don't know
past.
about.
This is past the books. So
Okay. I have felt for a little while leading up to this, as you kind of see the development of the Bram character, that he has obviously affected events throughout the timeline and stuff like that. So I like that that was kind of finally touched on, and I'm anxious to see where they go with it as far as how many more things did he set in motion that we don't know about yet.
that is interesting. And well, I mean, the biggest thing that he set into motion though was um, the fall of uh, Baratheon because of everything that happened after that when he was pushed by um, Jamie and Cersei.
Jamie.
Or
Exactly, yeah. So starting like with that in a very direct sense, he set a
right,
lot of things into motion. But
right.
now, as we see that he can kind of look through the timeline and things like that, and can directly affect it, how much more of this was either affected by him, if not entirely set into motion by him?
Okay.
I read an article somewhere, I don't know if it was like a Reddit article, but they were saying how they think he may even have popped over to the Mad King. I remember how
I
he used to say he heard whispers and whatnot, that it could have
Right.
been Bran trying to stop him. And
that is what I think as well, and we've had these debates in my office quite a bit, and a lot of us think that Bram is going to be proven to have played some substantial role in the whole situation with the Mad King, that even before his character's actual birth set a lot of things into motion.
yeah, because I also read too that old Nan, he was telling a story to, I guess when Bran was bedridden, and she told a story about Bran the Builder. I guess Bran the Builder built either, I don't know if he built
Winter.
Winterfell or whatever, yeah. And Bran of now said to her, "Oh, you're getting me mixed up with a different Bran." But that maybe because she was so old, maybe it was him, and he had gone back even, like you're saying, further back and actually built Winterfell too, and that he kept popping back, through the ages at these key points and doing things.
Right.
Yeah,
He may be.
that was what in the debates and work that people who were on the Bram started much, if not all, of this side pointed out that he was confused with some other Bram. What if there isn't another Bram? What if it's him moving
Right.
throughout the timeline? And
Or and hey, whisper in somebody's ear that, oh, this is a good place to plant a heart tree, and look at these hot springs. Why don't we build? Because one of the towers is associated with Bran the Builder, and that's I hadn't thought of that, but he is going to play a significant role more, I think, in he may play a role in the war against Cersei, but with the White Walkers coming, that is his main purpose.
Mhm.
And so who do I want to go to now? Now I want to go to let's go down to Dorne, because in my little email that I sent the ladies anyway, I said, uh, let's talk about Dorne, because everybody's dead that makes any difference down there. And what do we see um, down in Dorne? We've got Varys, Olyana, and what's her name? Um,
The sister, yeah.
yes, and like I was like, okay, like their intention was to try and hook up with Danny anyway. So um, now Highgarden, Dorn, and some people didn't catch it. And I was in Mike's office today, and I mentioned this too, because it is really racing. Varys was down in Dorne, and by the end of the episode, he was on a ship with Danny and Tyrion, headed to Westeros. He was there on the ship.
So it kind
So
of felt like something got skipped there.
Yeah.
yeah, I mean it was a big jump, but if you looked at, because my daughter is real big into the house sigils, and she's like, there was Dorn, and there was um, the rose on the sails, from High Garden. So she's got more than enough ships. Um, but the reason I wanted to talk about the Ironborn is because they took that whole story and they kind of squished it to like a very small little bit, because that went on. It seemed like for in the books where things were pretty much fast paced, that whole Ironborn Kingsmoot thing seemed to take a lot more time in the books. And sh- should they even have had it in there? I mean, the show has um, not deviated a lot from the books. There's just been stories that haven't been told, like they just ignored them. There's been a lot of big differences. Um, like one of the biggest differences is that Caitlyn Stark is kind of still alive, but she pops up here and there in the book, and then like she's kind of like a sleeper. That's why I asked Jerry if she thought she was going to come back. Um, Rob's wife was not at the Red Wedding and does not get killed. Um, and her name was something totally different. And, uh, that's a big change. But for the most part, the main story has stayed the same. Um, the one of the other big differences is that Uncle Kevin Lannister, got killed in the Sept, and not the way he gets killed in the book. Because in the book, Varys pops out of nowhere in the Red Keep, and he kills Kevin Lannister right at the end of a book, and he says, "The reason I'm killing you is because you're doing too good a job. We need Cersei in there screwing things up." Um, and so they stayed with the main story, but just his death was a little bit different. Um, but Ironbound, what do you think about the Ironbound and Theon himself, like his story? Because he's been a character he was kind of. I mean, I never liked the guy. I like him a lot more now than I did, but he was kind of like up here, and then he hit a low, and now he's seems to be bouncing back. And outside of the girls that we talked about before, Sansa and Arya, it seems like he could almost be one of those characters that would be up for most changed from start to finish. But what do you think about the whole Ironbound thing? And I'm going to start with Lee. Lee, I'm going to start with you.
Leon, you mean the one who had his thingy taken away?
Yes, Laura
Okay,
Norman
well,
has
I
posted a.
think he's got a second lease on life with his sister, and he's still very quiet in the background, but he's coming into his own. He's another one that went through horrific things with Ramsay, and I think he's going to find his place next to his sister, and
Okay, so what is going to happen when Theon possibly reunites with Sansa? What is that going to be like? And Jon Snow, is there going to be any kind of retribution against him, or what do you think? Is he going to be forgiven?
yes, I
Mike?
think so.
I think he probably will be forgiven. Otherwise, I don't really see at this juncture the point of the character of keeping that character around, other than to go down that path, because there's really no other major plot point I can see him contributing to.
Karen?
Um, yeah, I'm curious to see how that's going to play out between him and Jon Snow, because he's the one who betrayed the Starks in the first place. So, I'm really interested to see how that interaction is going to go. I don't know if he's going to forgive him or not, so it'll be interesting to see.
And Jerry.
I don't know. I don't think that Jon Snow is going to forgive him. I think, like, he gave Melisandre that sort of pass by saying to her, go away and never come back. I don't think he's going to do that again, but I don't think he's going to embrace him and want him, within the walls of Winterfell. Yeah, I don't know. I'm very curious to see what happens, but I'm leaning more toward forgiveness. I don't know if he'll kill him, but I just don't think it's a tough pill to swallow.
Okay, so Laura Norman points out that Bran the Builder also built the wall, which is very, very significant because it's what's keeping them alive. So Ironborn, Bolton. Okay, so
There's only one Bram, and it's just him.
Yeah. What do you think about Theon and Jon Snow? You, Tony.
I think that I don't think it will matter because I think there's gonna be some sort of battle where Theon dies. But you see, I could see Theon dying to save Sansa somehow or some way.
So that'll be like the character's redemption. He'll die saving somebody else.
I think specifically Sansa, or possibly Arya, but but there will be some kind of redemption for him because Dany asked him why he didn't want to be the king, and he said because I'm not fit to rule. But we'll talk about that one scene because that was an awesome scene in Marine when they met up and had that little negotiation. But we'll talk about Marine in a second. Actually, no, we're going to talk about Marine right now. So, a lot of, in my opinion, a lot of kind of fits and starts with that storyline. They're way past the book at this point. Instead of talking about the entire story, though, let's talk about the relationships. And I think one of my favorite ones is the Dany, the Daenerys and Tyrion relationship. And also Tyrion's relationship with the Grey Worm and Missandra, which is almost the same as Melisandre, but it's different. Which, like, why do we have to have names that are almost the same, especially when they're like not right? Like, I could.
Aisha thing, and they changed her name to Yara just to change it.
Yeah. They have to change the Yara because of the Arya. Yeah, but that's a big enough difference. You know what I mean? But
Have a spelling bee with the names from Game of Thrones.
Yeah, I never write Cersei's name. I just call her Queen Bitch because, like, I'm like, why does that look wrong? Even though I know it's right. Cersei.
Khaleesi has 5 names. I mean, I don't know who the hell she is anymore. Khaleesi, what's her name? Give me the one name her name is. Khaleesi. What else is she?
Oh, she's the mother of dragons.
I know. That's all I call her because she's got a million names.
I just call her Dany. It's a lot easier. Everybody knows who you're talking about because there's nobody named Dan in that show. Like a simple name like Dan. But Tyrion holding things together, and by far my favorite character. I know Mike's was Ramsay Bolton, but
of course.
Of course. The dark side of yes. I like Ramsey Bolton too, Mike.
Liked. You can't
And
like him
and when I
anymore.
say that I like him, it's not that I was rooting for him as a character. I just thought he was a more enjoyable villain than say Joffrey was, who I just didn't like at all.
Yeah,
Well, Joffrey was more of a dick
yeah.
than I mean Ramsey was
Ramsey
you
was
know.
smart, methodical.
Well, he knew how to friggin' really tear somebody down. I can tell you that much. But but
Exactly.
um, it seems like this season, every time Danny turns around, I'm like, wait, what? And cheering. Like, not that I wasn't cheering for her before, but it's like when um she set fire to the temple or whatever you call it when
Yeah.
they had her captive. I was like, you've got to be kidding me. This is brilliant, you know. Um, and she's the unburnt. That's another name, Lee. She's the unburnt. Um,
She's Carrie, is what she is. She came out of that temple like Carrie.
she
Don't tell
she
me.
she did. She did, but in that one episode, she got all of the Dothraki because she killed all of the cows. So,
There's no weapons allowed there, remember? That's the only way she could do them in. How else was she going to kill them?
well, yeah, because she's invincible when it comes to fire. Um, but when she took out the fleet, and then while she was gone, that little scene with Tyrion, where he says, you broke your word. Um, did you guys see that coming? Where they were going to where he killed the other two? Um, eh, like I did not know how that was going to end. It was like,
You mean Grey Worm when he slashed the other two throat? Yeah,
yeah.
that was pretty cool.
Oh, that goes without question. I didn't see it coming. I thought she was going to kill, or he was going to have the guy killed, the lowborn guy, only because he was the guy that was doing most of the talking. Um, at the end of that, um, and you have to realize the reason for him to do most of the talking was because the maesters thought that it was below them to be speaking to
Right.
those people. Um, but that was a significant scene. But um, right before that, before they had the negotiation, what was going on between Danny and Tyrion? Like they had a conversation where she like straight faced and she's like, I am going to do this, I'm going to do that. And this is when she has the conversation where he tells her about uh the
It's
the,
me.
the wildfire. Um
Oh,
it's because she was being calm and they're getting bombed and Tyrion is all afraid and stuff. Like why? Like were they just trying to show that she was like unshaken and he was? Like what was the point of that? Or was it just a good setting for them to have that little speech where they can remind people there's wildfire under the sept?
I'm not sure what the purpose of it could be for drama. You don't know. Maybe you're reading too much into that. I'm not sure.
I wasn't reading too much into it. It's like I'm just telling you what I saw. She's standing there. He was shaking a little bit, and then they finally decide that they're going out and they're like, "Yeah, we want to talk about surrender." And I knew they weren't surrendering.
Well,
Um,
if you ever notice about her, she is always very composed, and she's a leader. She's a queen. She's so composed. Everything else will fall around her, and she just got that look of stateliness. That's why who she is. I mean, she's got three dragons behind her. I wouldn't
right,
be that nervous either.
right. But then after that, when she had and one of the best scenes um, this season, um, where not much happens, but everything happens when Danny was meeting with Yara and Theon. Okay, before she shook hands and before they made the agreement, you know, Yara looks over at Theon, and Theon gives her a little bit of a head shake, and she agrees. And then, almost timidly, Danny turns and looks back at uh, Tyrion, and he looked like the cat that swallowed the canary as he gave her the old head shake, saying, "Yes, this is good. Let's do this," And then they shook hands, and it seemed like a big contrast into like why would Danny um, look almost for approval from Tyrion before she went ahead and said,
Because she respects him now.
"I
She
agree
sees
with
he's
you."
smart. That's she because it isn't because that he's her advisor,
Well,
and
she made him the
she did the
hand.
respectful thing by looking at him. Should I? And he nodded.
She made him the hand of the queen, and that blew me away.
Yeah,
In the finale,
yeah.
um, and that's but it just seemed like in contrast to earlier in that same episode where she was like being very stoic and saying, "I'm going to destroy the cities. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that," and he had a little talk with her. She went from that to being almost a little bit pensive, and it's not really pensive, but like she looked like when she looked back at Tyrion, it looked like
Well, she's
maybe
kind of in new territory and making new alliances. She needs help at this point. She does need him for advice because this is a whole. Everyone's forming alliances now and with people that they never did before, and they've been by them. So there's a they're looking, I guess for support. I don't know, right? I mean, this is an
listen.
alliance.
The one thing we know about Tyrion is he drinks and he knows things.
And he makes me laugh a hell of a lot. He's so funny.
He's got so many great one-liners that it's unbelievable. Mike, anything that you want to add about the about Marine and all of the stuff that happened there? Um,
No, I mean I agree with everything you guys were saying. Like with Danny looking at over at Tyrion, like he's her advisor. He was doing his job and throwing his 2 cents into it. And I think you guys kind of just touched on everything.
except for him getting that nice little hand on his chest.
Oh well.
I'd want one of those. I'd take that crap.
Tony, the next time we're together, I'll put my hand on your chest.
And I'll take a picture of it and tweet it out.
Better.
So, in the long run, since you know the books, is Danny going to form an alliance with
No,
Jon Snow?
We don't know.
That,
We don't know. We can speculate.
Are they going to be lovers?
No, we
Snow
don't
and Danny?
know. No, that's his aunt. That's his aunt. No, pretty much for the most part at the beginning of this season, except for a couple of little storylines, they have passed the books. Like the one thing that came through to the end was the siege of Riverrun that Jamie went to quell. That was in the books, and it played out almost like that, except the person that was getting Riverrun was a Frey, but he was married to Jaime Lannister's aunt in the book. So the two guys that Arya cooked up in a pie, and which reminds me, and I said this on Sunday, and I'll say it again, I am never dining in House Frey because you never know who or what you're eating. But yeah, we don't know. That's why one of the first things I asked is, I'm actually enjoying it more because I get to speculate. Like I can tell you how I think it's going to end, but and in a general way, I'm going to be 100% right. Danny is definitely going to hook up with Jon Snow. I don't think they're going to get romantic, but they will definitely hook up. They will take out Cersei, but then they're going to be fighting the White Walkers.
Yeah.
So
Right.
there's a lot of story left.
How
to be
how
told.
difficult though do you think it'll be for them? Like how much of the time of the last 2 short seasons that are left is going to be devoted to trying to overthrow Cersei?
I think next season is getting rid of Cersei and the beginning of the White Walker War, and then the whole end second season is going to be White Walker War, and then where everybody ends up. So there's only a couple of main characters we haven't talked about. We haven't talked about Samwell, and he popped up. So we'll talk about Samwell, and then we'll talk about Jon Snow and everything that happened up on the wall, and I guess we'll.
What that are you going to talk about that scene where he has the flashback and he sees his father with the baby in the tower? His sister, what is that? Ned
Well,
Stark's sister?
we talked about Bran. You could have brought it up then, but we all
Oh, you
know
did?
that.
All
Yeah.
right.
Well, we talked about Bran. Were
Uh,
you not here?
I don't know where. Maybe I went to get water. I don't know.
No, you were here.
No, was I here? I was playing.
No,
with
we
the
could talk about we can talk about that particular vision, but I
Well, the
mean,
baby is what? Jon Snow?
the baby is Jon Snow. Yes.
And who's
So
the
everybody,
father?
the father is again. You asked us earlier if Danny was going to marry Jon Snow. It's his aunt.
Okay.
So
All right, you answered that. Thank you.
Daenerys's brother got together with Lyanna Stark, who was supposed to marry Baratheon, okay, but didn't. She hooked up with Danny's brother and gave birth to a child. And
Okay.
Ned Stark brought that baby home and he promised his sister he would tell nobody because there was a rebellion going on and he would be heir to the throne, so he needed to be killed.
Okay. I needed clarification.
Yes, but so that's the main reason why Danny is probably not going to get together with Jon Snow. He's still. I don't know if they ever. I don't think they married, so he would still be a bastard, but
Just not the bastard you thought he was.
just not the best. But meanwhile, his uncle kills his father because Ned Stark was his mother's brother. So
Right.
his uncle killed his own father. So, and before we get to Winterfell and um, there was one other person we needed to talk about. That was Samwell. Samwell. So Samwell's story.
Boo.
Okay.
I'll be right back.
Okay. So, what do we think about Samwell, Mike?
Not a fan. Not a fan. I feel like his story has long been over. Unless they pull out him doing something amazing in the last few episodes of the show, his story could have been over a long time ago. I feel like every time this season that we've checked in with his character, the episode ground to a halt.
Okay. Well, I mean, I really liked it that he took his daddy's sword, but
Valerian, right? It's Valerian.
yes, it's Valerian, so he can kill some White Walkers with that. But
Okay.
he is going to make his worth known when when it comes to the White Walker Wall.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure
Yeah.
he'll have value. But in the meantime, I feel like he's taking away from the characters I actually give a shit about at this point.
Well, he did get what, like a minute and a half, maybe 2 minutes worth
Too
of.
long. Yeah, he's working in a library. We get it. He got a summer job.
That's that signifies what's her face got this happen.
Like a Harry Potter library.
So.
Yeah, that's you know what? That's a perfect analogy. He belongs in Harry Potter, not in Game of Thrones.
Okay, so Karen,
I
fan.
think he's up writing the history. Like he's going to be the one. He's going to be the scribe, and takes note of everything that's happened. I think he's going to be important.
Well, he'll find something in that library that's going to help him in the long run. But Karen, fan of Samwell?
He's okay. I mean, I never really
Karen,
understood
it's
what
okay. You can say you hate him.
you know.
I can tell you want to. Just boo him.
He
Just
got
boo him.
better.
Okay, I'm going to admit something. Whenever I would watch the show on my DVR, I would fast forward through the Sam parts. I would
Oh.
fast forward through the Sam parts and the Bran parts. So,
See? I like Karen.
yeah.
She's on team fuck Sam.
No, not necessarily, but as long as his character has something to do with the story as a whole, then I'm okay with it. I have a feeling that in the future he is going to be bringing that sword to Jon Snow at some point.
John's
So
already
Jon's
got
gonna
one
use-
though.
How much of him hanging out in the library, wasting your time, do you really want to sit through, though, until we get to the part where he's important for 30 seconds?
No, I just want to get to the 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Exactly.
See, I
So-
keep track of this stuff. I just want you to know I keep track of this stuff. So I've got it written down. So just
No.
for future reference, yeah, John's already got Valerian steel though. He got the Lord Commander's sword, which is Valerian steel. So I don't think hey, the more steel you have up out on the wall, the better you are.
Do you think Brianna's going to take out Jamie? Do you think that's going to
No.
come?
No.
Remember they said, let's just hope that it doesn't come to that, Jamie says to her?
Well, that's because they were
You
talking
never
about
know.
being on opposite sides of the flag, but
I feel like Jamie has to die, though, so
Yeah,
why
and
not
I
her?
think she might have to be the one.
she
Yeah.
might. It could possibly be her, but that would be a very emotional battle for her.
It would be emotional, and then they'll make Sam walk into the scene and just fuck the whole thing up.
I'll bring the dog in.
Yeah, he'll
Um,
start like bitching about the kid that's not even his, and you're just like you were seriously caught up where like she had to kill him, and as he's dying, she's like holding him in her arms, and they're talking about their sort of unrequited feelings that they secretly had for each other and stuff like that. And then Sam just like wanders in and starts like talking about library books and shit, and just
Sam
ruins
just
the
wants to
entire
read.
scene. Yeah.
well, that I think that would have been a big possibility before Cersei
Mitch.
blew up the Sept with everybody in it and caused their only child that is left to jump out a window. So I could definitely see that happening though, Brienne, and because
I
but
do.
that would be
I think he'll kill Cersei, but then Brienne will kill him.
Yes.
and
Sam is gonna suck for another 2 seasons until he does the one thing that his entire character's existence is justified by.
So we talked about Bran, we talked about Brienne, because I was going to say we didn't really talk too much about her, and Brienne and Jamie having a fight, which would be pretty good because Brienne is not the best sword wielder or swords person, but then again, fighting Jamie left-handed would probably make that a fair fight.
Do you think the Squire's going to die?
Who?
I like
Podrick?
him. Brianna Squire.
Podrick.
Talk.
God.
Yeah, I like him. I hope they don't kill him off in a
well,
bad way.
he's gonna die. He's gonna die just because he's hitting
Thanks,
that.
Tony. He's
I mean,
gonna
I feel
die
like
a bad
many
death.
of the characters are gonna die, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is the
think
kind of
Podrick
show
was
where
gonna
there's
die.
not gonna be a lot of survivors of the core cast.
So let's jump to Jon Snow because we danced around Jon Snow and we didn't talk about Giant Spain. We didn't talk about 1-1. That was probably the saddest casualty,
Oh.
in the Battle of the Bastards. Right at
Oh, my
the
God.
end,
Ugh.
Ramsay,
The door.
he did open the door. Well, and there was a meme that went out. Hodor held the door, and 1-1 opened the door. I don't know if you've seen that, but I had to watch that episode. I must have watched it at least 6 times, and I watched it from start to finish.
The Battle
6
of the
times.
Bastards. I'm with
Yes.
you. I did too.
Only because um, they started playing the Reigns of Castamere. I don't know if you picked up on that. And I was like, holy crap, they're going to kill him. Like, they went through all of this stuff. And there's Jon Snow standing there. He's dropping his sword belt and he's pulling his sword out. And he's standing in front of all these horses. And I was like, they're going to kill him. And I turned to my daughter and, like, with one eye, I'm looking at the TV. How are they not going to kill him? And then the horses come from the other side. And I was like, oh, shit. The only thing that I couldn't watch, and I still have a hard time, is when he's being trampled and he's being squished with the people.
Suffocated.
Yeah.
He's trying to get out of that. I mean, he was really. Kit Harington was stellar in that episode. His facial expressions, the way he looks at Bolton at that end when he sees that he's got help from his sister, and he climbs out of that mound and he stares, and the look on his face with the mud of hate. I mean, that was phenomenal. I mean, the acting was great in this episode for him.
Yeah, I agree. I thought he did a really great job, and I don't know about you guys, but I think most of us have probably had dead bodies on top of us, and it's really difficult
It's
to
not,
fight your
it's
way
not
out.
comfortable to climb out of that. I agree with you, Mike.
Yeah.
I just like it a lot better when he wears the tight leathers.
I want him to dance around me naked.
Okay, you see, now you just made it wrong.
Three
Not
girls.
me, not you.
No, but see, like, just him dancing around naked with that ridiculous bun he's got in his hair.
I
I'm
love
sorry.
the bun.
I know, Karen. I'm sorry. So, is Bran headed to Winterfell, and is he going to let Jon know that he's a Stark, but he's really a Targaryen? So, how does that change anything for Jon Snow? Does it change anything at all?
I was just saying, at this juncture, does it really? Not that it doesn't matter. I'm sure he'll tell him, and he'll be interested in his own backstory. But does it really change anything? Like, I don't think he's gonna. He's already set on his path. Like, I don't think he's gonna make any huge deviations from that now.
Okay. Because besides in the last episode, the Sept of Baelor, the next greatest scene was when they were in Winterfell, and little Lady Mormont gets up and makes her little speech, and she is my favorite newest character on the show. Like, she stole the scene when Sansa and
Yes.
actually when Sir Davos came and made the case for him,
Yeah.
Sir Davos, like, has some really great lines.
He's good.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about him too, because we haven't talked about him because now we're with Jon Snow. But
And the Red Witch. What about her?
yeah, well, we're going to talk about her too. We're going to talk about the people that are around Jon Snow. We'll get there. But little Lady Mormont, when she gets up and she says there's only one king in the north, and she gets these older, bigger men, just like say, hey, she speaks the truth. This is it. She stole that scene, and that little girl, like, I don't know how old she is, and I want, like, she was at the Battle of the Bastards, like, she's there in the background, like, she's sitting on a horse.
If I had half the balls she had at 12, I'd be president by now.
Wouldn't we all?
She's
But
fantastic little
I think
actress.
she's a great character, and it's the way that I imagine all children are when you're not around them.
yeah, no, Mike.
No, kids are just like super dark and creepy and methodical. All of them.
They're
As soon as you walk out of the room, like in Toy Story, how the toys come
Yeah.
to life.
Yeah.
Like
Village of the Damned.
kids are like warlords as soon as you leave.
I think her mother and her sister were in the show, but they didn't really like. They were bigger. They played a bigger role in the books. Like you got to know them, and uh, the Mormonts were because all the men were dead. You know, it was just all females, so they were very strong in the books. But uh, I want to see more of Giant Spain. I want to see more of Sir Davos. But so anything pop out for any of you people about any of these characters that we're talking about now? The Jon Snows, the Giant Spain, 1-1, the people that are up in the north in Winterfell. So that's like a blanket question. So you could say anything you want about anybody, Lee.
No, I'm afraid. Oh, no, you don't. That's a loaded thing for
No,
me.
it's a very open question because there may be somebody I haven't mentioned or spoken about, and I think we've hit most of the main characters. We didn't talk about um, Jamie's sidekick, um,
Oh
Tyrion's.
yeah.
We didn't talk about him because not really much to talk about there except he's just there. Um, Danny Tyrion. We didn't talk about the bear and his quest to find the cure for grayscale. We didn't talk about him at all
Oh yeah.
because um,
What do you think's going to happen to him? You think he's going to come back with the cure?
if he comes back with the cure, that'd be awesome because I loved the cure back in the day. Um,
I think he's going to come back and stand by her side, like she wanted. I don't know. By Danny's side. Might we talking about the same thing?
yes.
All right.
He's going to have to make his way to Westeros to do that. So
Who do you think Arya is going to take out next?
Well, who's left? Isn't everybody dead?
No,
Just
she's going
except
after
Cersei?
someone. Cersei.
Shit.
And Jamie, well,
We'd like to
no.
get
The,
There's nobody left in King's Landing. I don't think. I think everybody because Joffrey was one of the names that she used to say. Cersei, Tywin Lannister, the Mountain.
the mountain.
the Hound.
That would be something. Arya against the mountain. Could be the Hound and Arya against the mountain.
Let's see. I wish I knew this off the top of my head, but
I don't know if you guys are checking Twitter. I'm not, but I did get a text from Kelly Toole. I don't know if you guys can see that really
I
clearly.
can't see that.
It said that he is very much pro incest, so he wants some more Lannister action in the last 2 seasons. So
Well, they got to make more kids. They don't have any left.
Mm.
Ooh, gross.
Time to give birth to another psycho.
Whatever happened to Gentry? Remember how he rode off on that little boat and he never came back? Because I always thought that he and Arya were going to end up hooking up.
Well, Gendry is actually what's his name's son. So that would be interesting to see Gendry come back. But I think that was just his out. Like I don't think they wanted. I don't think they wanted to kill him right out.
Yeah.
And if this wasn't a really crappy website, let's see. I've got the list. So Walder Frey is number 1, and she's already gotten him. Cersei. And
He won't get her. Yeah.
the Mountain. And let's see who else is on this list. Come on. The Mountain. Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah, like who's left that did her family in?
The Red Woman Melisandre. I don't know why she would be on the list. Okay, why is she on the list? Tell me.
I don't remember her saying her name.
Taking Gendry away. Ah, that's right. That's right. She took Gendry away in the show.
Yeah, she tried to get with him because she thought he was the one, right? Remember, she tried to sleep with him, or she did sleep with
I
him.
know. Didn't she? Didn't
I thought
she?
she was taking his blood. She needed a king's blood or something.
Yeah.
I think she killed him. But let's see. Who else is uh come on. This I hate these websites that have all these like ads and things and stuff and make it impossible. Okay, so yeah, there's a lot of people on this. Like Beric Dondarrion is on the list, and why is he on the list? Because he sold Gendry to Melisandre. Doris of Mare. He's dead though, I think. Ilan Payne, he's dead.
Yeah.
Well, it says this website says no, he's not dead, but I'm gonna say, and well, she killed him anyway. Joffrey's dead.
Tywin's dead.
Tywin's dead, and that's it. So, some of the people that were on her list, they may still be alive, but they're insignificant as far as being on the show anymore. Like they're not significant enough. The only person that would be the Mountain, and I don't think she's going to be able to take him out. That would be difficult. But does anybody want to make any kind of predictions before we go? Because we covered Jon Snow and the Battle of the Bastards. Melisandre, we don't know where she's going. She's going to go south. She's going to hook up with somebody somewhere. But
Is Diana Rigg really looking that old? That's not my comment. Or do they make her up to look that old?
She's that
Oh my
old.
God. Is that
She's
makeup?
No, she's that old.
She is that old?
Yeah, she's
Really?
old.
She's all puffy and stuff? I didn't think she was that old. I thought they making her look a little more grandma-ish for the show.
I remember being
God, she looks awful.
No.
She does.
when she was
the
in the
Avengers, she's a
Avengers.
beautiful woman.
No,
Yeah, and
Diana
that was
Rigg.
1970s. She's 77 years old.
Well, she looks like she's 97.
Eh,
Yeah, I think they made her look older. I
I
don't think she
you
looks.
you know something? I think for 77, I don't think she looks that bad.
I think the Avengers was the 60s.
Yeah, she does look that bad. Actually, I think she does look that old. I'm looking at pictures of her now.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she does look that old.
Wait, the Avengers were in the '60s. That was 50 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess so. I guess even she could be near 80, in her 80s even.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Like I said, any day 6 feet above ground is a pretty good day.
Well, you
You
know
know.
what? She's a good actress. She still got it. She plays a good part on it. I am surprised Marjorie's dead. I didn't think Marjorie was going to die.
Well, Marjorie has spent all of her usefulness, as far as I'm
In a
concerned.
dungeon.
Well, I mean, she had to be a thorn in Cersei's side. That's what her whole point of being in the show was, and because we need a bigger CGI budget, we need to cut the cast. So we had to get rid of a whole bunch of people that were getting paid significant amounts of money.
Do you think those dragons have an integral part in the White Walkers, Fire and Ice?
Oh yeah, sure, of course. How do you
Absolutely,
think?
right?
Yeah, because you're gonna melt those suckers. You burn those suckers to death. That's why they burn the bodies.
Yep.
But Benjen Stark is going to pop up again, and I call that one. Benjen saved Bran. You know, Bran's going to Winterfell. There's going to be a whole bunch of stuff that happens. There's going to be some setup stuff, and then they're going to end up going to war, especially once they get word that Dany is coming, and she's just going to walk right across Westeros, and that's going to be the big thing because she knows about the wildfire, and Tyrion knows about the wildfire, and they're going to have to stop her from doing that. And it's quite possible that Arya is the one that kills her, because she can get in there. I don't.
Arya kills Cersei. Is that what you're saying?
It's possible because she's on the list.
I think Arya is a killing machine right now, without a doubt. She's gonna have she's gonna kill him. Yeah, I agree with you. I don't. She was trained for a reason. That's for sure.
Well,
I think Jaime's gonna kill Cersei in her Janet Jackson Rhythm Nation dress that she had on.
Yeah.
He's gonna kill her. Brienne's gonna kill him. You're gonna find out that Bram did all of this.
That would really, really be interesting.
And it's gonna end with a giant Bollywood-style musical number.
And you want to know something? I'm in with that.
Complete with the dragons.
Now that I'd like to see.
I don't know how the dragons would die.
Well, the dragons aren't infallible because there used to be a hell of a lot more of them, and they can be killed.
Yeah,
so,
I'm thinking.
Yeah, I think you're going to see at least one of the dragons get killed.
Come down, yep.
Are they all three boys? Can they mate with each other?
I don't know if they said that.
What, Jerry? What'd you say?
Are the dragons are they all the same sex? Are they all boys? Or can they mate with each other? They never said anything. Imagine they find another clump of eggs. That'd be so awesome.
Like dragon eggs?
Yeah.
I just got another text from Kelly, and he said the only thing hotter than incest is dragon sex. So.
Well, I'll tell you, Danny knows how to ride a dragon.
Oh boy.
Uh-oh.
Riding the dragon, huh?
Yeah. She's stoking the fire.
Okay, so here goes a question. How many people think that there's a potential that Tyrion and Sansa hook up?
No.
You don't think so?
I think that they respect each other, and it's just a love, like a friendship love, and a respect for one another. But I don't think they would get to that next level. That's my gut feeling.
Because he is the only man that was in her life that treated her with any sort of respect or dignity or whatever. And so I'm just wondering whether or not,
I want to see Tyrion and Arya.
Tyrion and Arya?
That's what I want to say.
That could be interesting. But do you know the way this show is going to end? Tyrion is not going to die, and he's going to find his true love, I think, because that's all he's been looking for.
Yeah.
Well, that's going to be the lead into the dance number.
So it's going to be like a wedding type thing, and
that's going to be like West Side Story.
That could actually be interesting. That could let's see if I can find out.
What about Dany and Theon's sister? What's her name?
Yara.
Yara.
Yeah, maybe she's had it with men.
I don't think so. So
I don't know.
Although she left that hot piece, I can't believe she left him. That was a mistake.
No, it wasn't.
How long as a mistress? No way. Mistress.
the reason that they left him behind is why she had to leave him behind, because one of the things that she may have to do is marry somebody,
That's right.
and it
It
it's
could be
not.
Tyrion.
Yeah, I don't think so. I
No.
think there's too much not love there, but more respect. Um, in
Tyrion
that
ends up with one of the dragons.
he
Yeah.
quite possibly could, but that would be on a different channel.
I'm really trying to think of who
What about
Khaleesi's
Robin?
going to wind up with. I know
Who?
who Khaleesi's going to wind up with. The guy who's getting the cure. Yeah.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, he loves her. And you know what? She does love him.
But she put him in the
You never know. Stranger
Okay,
things
so
have happened.
um, the prophecy says, and I gotta find it. When the sun rises in the west, okay, and I have said this on Twitter a couple times, and I'll say it now. The sun doesn't necessarily need to be S-U-N, but S-O-N. And the sun rising in the west could be Jon Snow, because he is the sun.
Mm.
So when the sun, she will be able to have a child when the sun rises in the west and it sets in the east. So the setting in the east is the hard part to figure out, because what needs to set in the east? Or is she like, is Marine, because she left it with the second sons? The sun setting, the sun is set in the east, and it's rising, which is Jon Snow, in the west, Westeros. Does that mean that her next partner will be able to allow her to conceive a child? Because that's what the prophecy says, that she will be able to bear a child when, and all prophecies do come true. And the prophecy says that she will be able to have a child. But the sun has to rise in the west and set in the east. The second sons are in the east, in Marine, and Westeros has a rising sun. Or it could be Tommen had to jump out of a window.
What did you say? Tommen didn't?
Tommen jumped out of a window.
Oh.
So he set himself into some concrete right at the bottom of that tower.
King's Landing.
Yes. They call that Tommen's Landing now, because that's where he landed. Right
He
there.
should have been in a million pieces. He's looked pretty intact to me. That tower was tall.
Well, I don't remember them actually showing too much of, other than somebody covered with a blanket, and then they lifted it up, but they didn't show us, you know. And that was like probably the most nonchalant suicide I've ever seen. Just like, whoop, right out.
Tell me about it. I almost blinked and went for my water. I'm like, all of a sudden I saw him on the ledge, and poop, he's off. I'm like, wait, what just happened?
Yeah, and meanwhile, Cersei told the mountain, make sure he does not come out this door. So the mountain just stood there and let him go out the window, you know. But he did follow orders. All right,
You think the Grey Worm is gonna die in battle?
Quite. I think the Grey Worm may, but I don't know. We'll have to see.
Maybe he'll get a penis implant and then he could be with that girl.
He could be.
Yeah, he needs to find a cure too. So does Theon. The two of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That dick cutting around there in the medieval times. You glad you guys were born then, because both of you would have had them gone.
Who, me and Mike? Why?
Yeah, you and Mike. Just open your mouth. They're like, hey, hang on, sling them up. You have your body parts mailed to your crossroad.
Mike, what did you do?
For people that
I
have
know.
like,
I feel like we're just being super nice guys, sitting here and talking about a show with everybody, and all of a sudden now we jump to genital mutilation, and I don't even know how we got here.
Us ladies would be in a bad predicament as well.
Okay. This is taking a turn for the worst.
That seems like a good place to wrap it up. Genital
Yes, I think so.
mutilation.
Genital mutilation.
Genital genocide.
Anyway, it's been a lot of fun, and we'll have to do this again next season
Genital
sometime.
genocide is a great band name.
Yeah. Hey, Kelly, you listen to Genital genocide.
Kelly's not really
You're going to
listening.
DM that name.
He's not really listening.
No, he's totally listening to this.
He
not
is.
getting any texts.
Hey, Laura. I
Incest,
didn't get
dragon
any
sex,
tweets.
genital genocide. This is so up Kelly's alley.
So anyway, maybe we'll do this halfway through next season. Maybe we'll split a season and we'll do a couple of these, and we'll look back at our predictions and we'll say, boy, we were stupid back then. Because,
Boy, were we wrong.
yeah. Well, I mean,
Except for me, I was right about everything.
except when you were wrong about everything. Now, I just think that the
The Hound
The
and
last-
Harry are going to hook up.
who?
The Hound and Arya are going to hook up.
Oh, Arya. I thought you said Harry, and I was like, who the hell is Harry? Yeah.
There's no such easy name
Yeah.
in GOT land as Harry.
Yeah. No,
Now,
based
how
on
about
what we
Frank?
saw,
I would love to
Based-
see a Frank.
Yeah, there's no Italians in Westeros.
yeah,
No,
there's no
no.
Italians. You like to see a
Thank
Frank
God.
like a hot dog, like a penis? Is that what you're?
No. No, that's a
Frank
Frank
Footer?
Footer.
Yeah, they made human pie. They can make a human hot dog.
Yes,
Like
kosher.
a Joey bag of donuts in Westeros.
Um, well, based on the last episode, with so much stuff happening in such a short period of time, it could take 2 episodes for all of our theories to get flushed right down the toilet. But yeah, I kind of first time I was hearing that about Bran being responsible for even more things in the past. So,
Maybe the White Walker won't be a White Walker, that head White Walker guy. Maybe he'll become the undead. I don't know. I remember how she turned him into the ice guy with that stake right through his heart.
yes.
Maybe he'll have I don't know.
Retroactively
reversed.
zombie?
I
Yeah,
don't know.
I think
Maybe he'll come out of it.
I wonder if he
Who
was.
was that guy anyway? Who was
Yeah.
turned?
Who was he?
Oh, she explained it. He was like some kind of he was like a prince or something like that, but she made him to defend them against. He was like one of the Andals or something like that, I think.
You never know. Stranger things will happen on a reverse. Maybe he'll marry Danny. He's a prince.
No, I don't
All
think
right.
so.
I'm going off the deep end now.
One
Yeah.
last question.
Okay.
Showed Jon Snow being bored. Why did the sister look so much like Amelia Clark? Did you notice that? She looked just like Dany. I wonder if that had any significance.
Oh,
The actress that they used, I thought looked just like Daenerys, and that was really weird, like a brunette Daenerys.
yeah.
I thought okay.
Could be nothing, but I just thought that was very strange of all the brunettes that they could have chosen in the world.
Hold on. I'm gonna look at a picture because I thought she looked like Sansa a little bit.
Mhm.
She does kind of.
Well, Jerry, which girl are you talking about?
She's talking about Ilyana Stark. Adelaide Kane is her name.
Uh-huh.
When she was giving birth to the baby, and she
Oh, yes. Okay.
just like Dany, and I was like, I wonder if that was deliberate. Like, what was that all about?
Yeah, you're right. She did have a similarity to her.
Maybe they want to say that that Daenerys and Jon are brother and sister. Could that be a possibility?
Well, they would. Like as if, yeah, like they're twins.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
It did show
Can of worms opening.
Jon Snow, but they didn't really connect it. And that was a fan theory. R plus L is J.
If you notice when they shot that scene, it was pretty profound with the baby's face.
Mm-hmm.
and then
Mhm.
it panned right to Jon Snow's face.
That was
Yes,
a
it went
beautiful
right in.
scene.
Yeah, well, that's because they had to make that. So for those dopes that were watching the show and hadn't figured it all out yet, hey, this baby is Jon Snow. Like they
Right.
had to remove
Oh, they
all
had to make
doubt
it.
from.
But what if there was another baby? And like a Luke and Leah scenario where she got sent to somebody else to be taken care of.
It's
There's
possible,
something
but
more
no,
to that scene.
you're
I feel
trying.
like there's something more to that scene. There's something
There's
else
a
there.
lot of blood for just having the one baby.
Now I think basically it was a bad childbirth was what did her in, and what it comes down to is um, the whispering, where if you were in a quiet room and you had the volume up, you could actually hear what she was saying. She's saying,
Oh yeah, the whispering.
yeah, you could actually hear it. And I didn't turn the closed captioning on, and I might do that to see
Yeah, to see what she says.
if they actually put it up on the screen. But you can hear her saying, you got to protect him because if they know who he is,
Yeah.
they will kill him.
Mhm.
That's basically paraphrasing what she's saying. But some of the stuff was a little bit unintelligible. So, but I mean, that's basically.
Yes, he did.
But anyway, I have to go to a meeting tomorrow. Up in
Right.
Totowa, up in your neck of the woods there, Jerry.
Oh,
I used to live right down. I used to live in the next town over in Clifton.
Yes, yes. Well, actually, is it Totowa? Yeah, it's Totowa. Um, it's right off 46, and
Yeah.
actually between 46 and 80 is where the office is, and right near the Home Depot, if you know where that is.
Yeah, I don't know.
So
I do know where that is.
yeah, so I gotta go up there, but I don't have to be up there till 10:30. But who
Still,
knows?
I
Um,
adopted my cat in Totowa at the Petco 14
ah,
years ago.
so anyway, with that, hey, maybe next year we'll do next year. Yeah, it will be next year. We'll do this again. Maybe halfway through, and then we'll do another finale one because this was a lot of fun, and then we won't have like a whole series worth of stuff to kind of talk about. We could
Right.
just talk about what's going on. And do it in an hour. But we still probably did it better than those jokers do it on HBO.
Definitely.
Mhm.
All right. Good night,
Well, we'll do
everyone.
some Walking Dead's coming on in October, right? Yeah,
Yes.
you do that with S News though. You don't do just Walking Dead stuff alone.
No, not usually. We were
All
talking
right.
about doing it, but it could be a little bit much. Plus, there's the Talking Dead already, and
True.
that cornered, yeah.
yeah. All right, everyone. Good night. Thank you for
Good
joining,
night.
and
Good
we'll
night.
talk to you soon. Thank you.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye,
Have a good night.
everyone.